Welcome to NEK VT Rocks. My guests today are Tanya Martin and Kimberley Diemond, and they're from Big Brothers and Big Sisters. No and in it, just Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What are you doing up here in Newport?
Well, we have been serving Windham County, Vermont since 1975. And in 2017, we branched out to become a statewide organization. Our first stop was in Chittenden County, and then...
It always is.
Yes, I know. And then we got a call from a local guidance counselor and a local business around the same time. One saying that they wanted to bring the mentoring program here, and one saying they wanted to have their staff become mentors. So it was sort of this perfect timing, and we came up to Newport late 2018. We started having community meetings and decided that it was viable to have a program here. We raised some funds to start the program, and we were housed at NEK's.
Right.
And now we're, since the pandemic, we're remote, so now we're housed out of Tanya's home and do a lot of our stuff online. But so that's how we sort of ended up here.
Are you going to go back to being housed by NEK's, or are you staying independent? And
I think we're pretty much going to be staying independent because we've been able to utilize online resources like Zoom to do our interviews now, and then Tanya goes on the road to meet with people.
So you have both the online and the personal?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. What do you have going up here? And I know COVID got in the way, as it did with everything else.
So I started in February of 2020, and we know what happened in March. So I started my job with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and the pandemic hit right away. And so I got to pivot and just do some maintenance work for a while and get to know my matches. I support the Northeast Kingdom matches, and I also help to support some Chittenden matches. And so I got to get to know everybody and kind of like the ins and outs. And so, yeah, right now we're just recruiting, and I've got 6 matches in the Northeast Kingdom, and I've got 4 bigs on the waiting list and 7 littles on the waiting list. So.
And you're based in Brattleboro, is that right?
Yes, our headquarters is in Brattleboro. That's where we've been since 1975, and we have pilot programs, pilot offices here in Newport, and in actually our Chittenden County office closed during the pandemic as well. So we have staff working out of Virgins, and then we have someone in our Brattleboro office as well.
Okay. So are any of your programs up and running big time, or did everything pretty much get shut down?
We have actually stayed open throughout the pandemic. We had a period of time where our matches could not meet in person.
Right.
So they were meeting remotely, or they were sending care packages or letters or doing like a drive-by hello. But for the past 3 months, they've been doing, we went back to in-person, only outdoors, wearing masks.
Right.
And then we were able to go back to doing some indoor wearing masks. So we're kind of just working with whatever is going on in the communities right now with COVID. And so there's still some remote mentoring going on, but also in person. So we've learned how to be very flexible between those two venues. Yeah, but thankfully we haven't had to shut our doors, and we've been able to serve the matches that we had pre-pandemic straight through. There was a period of several months where we did not make any new matches. So we've only recently started making new matches again. So
how do you recruit for both matches and for the kids?
Well, starting with the kids, usually the referrals for kids come through primarily the schools.
Sure.
And so we have not had communications with the schools for quite some time. For several months there was not very much communication. So any referrals coming in came directly from parents, every now and then from a social service agency, but the referrals definitely went down during the pandemic, and the volunteers who were coming through the doors, those numbers also decreased during the pandemic, so they're just now starting to kind of trickle in again. But for the volunteers, we use social media to recruit. We use Front Porch Forum, news media, radio, PSAs, coming on shows like this, and word of mouth. And when we're able to, going to civic organizations or businesses or, community events and doing a lot of in-person recruitment. That's really the best way for us to do it. So it's been a little bit challenging not having so many in-person venues to do that
in. In a perfect world, who is your perfect match?
Who is our perfect match?
Yeah, who are you really looking for?
Somebody who has the heart and the capacity to give. I mean, it doesn't look like anybody specifically.
Yeah.
It's somebody who really feels like it's that time in their life, and that's how I came into this job. My kids are grown now, and I really felt like I wanted to give back to my community, and so I sought that out, and it all fell together. And so when looking for bigs, I think it's the same thing. I think it's somebody who just is feeling like I'm ready to give, and we're available.
So if somebody was, say, 70, would that screen them out or screen them in?
Not there is 18 to 99, there is no age stop. We match energy and not age.
Right.
And so if there's a 70-year-old that comes to us and they want to be matched with a little or a youth in the community and they have the energy to do so, then we'd be happy to do it.
Are you recruiting your kids, again, all ages, or do you, when possible, go for a particular age group, or whoever comes your way?
So we serve ages 6 to 18, and so we're not seeking out any specific age. It's whoever is in that age category that comes to us and they want to be served by our program, then we'll talk to them.
Yeah. I used to live in Philadelphia, and there is a big brothers, big sisters program there. So I've sort of had, and I worked in social services. So I've had some contact over the years. And one of the things that made volunteers, those who were interested, a little hesitant was what if I move? What if I get sick? The what if questions. How can I guarantee I'm going to be there forever for that kid? Well, obviously you can't. Nobody can. But I presume you get questions like that.
We do, and this isn't a volunteer opportunity where you show up for an afternoon and you help out. So there is more of a commitment in that. The baseline commitment is 12 months, so 1 year in the program for our community-based and 1 school year for the school-based programs. And we do have a screening process where we do ask questions of, do you think you'll be moving in the next 12 months? So we're not looking forever. We're looking, where do you think your life will be in the next 12 months? Knowing that no one can predict.
Right.
But as long as you feel like that you're not planning any major changes in your life. Things come up unexpectedly, and we know that. But if you're not planning any major changes in the next 12 months, then this could definitely be the right opportunity for you.
Yeah. Do the kids understand that the adults are making a 1-year commitment as opposed to a lifetime commitment?
Yes, when we match children, we have a match agreement that everybody signs, and it is a 1-year commitment. What typically happens, or what oftentimes happens, is that at the end of that year, they don't want to stop, neither the big or the little. So we can definitely hold that match in the program until the child is 18. But it doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. It means that sometimes matches stay together for a lifetime because they are matched.
They're connected.
They're connected, and they become like family, and they maybe get matched when the child was in elementary school and right through into high school graduation, and then they exit our program, and they still want to stay connected, so they stay connected on their own.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to sound a little strange. It's sort of foster parenting light in some ways, because a lot of people can't be foster parents. They cannot make that full-time commitment, but they want to be involved. They want to give. They like being around young people. And this is one of the ways of doing that.
Yeah, and it's a friend-based, relationship-based program, so it's really not stepping in as a parent at all. But if you are, thinking about foster parenting being too much of a commitment, but you want to work with a child, then this is something that might work really well.
Right.
Agreed.
So where have you recruited in the Newport area?
So,
And how can we get you more?
yes, so I've started to show up at the farmer's market. However, I've been rained out the last
Yes.
couple times, so I'm going to be Wednesdays. I've been trying to go to the Wednesdays farmer's market.
I was going to say, we've not been rained out this year, hardly at all.
I just started. I just got connected to the right people. So I just started showing up there. I did speak at the Newport Rotary a few weeks ago. And, I've put out yard signs. I've put up banners. I'm basically willing to speak anywhere that will have me. I reached out to you guys here at NEK-TV. Just looking for opportunities to speak. I've called other civic organizations, and
Actually, I think I found you on Facebook initially.
you?
That was how I saw that go by.
and I think I emailed
Todd. Yes.
Yeah.
We had.
So, and of course, I serve all of the Northeast Kingdom. So I've reached out to the St. Johnsbury Rotary. I'm looking to connect in other ways that are outside the Newport Derby area, just because we do serve all of the Northeast Kingdom.
That's an enormous area you're covering.
It is. Yeah.
So you're going to be doing the matches in St. J too?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So, and that's where Zoom and the internet has been very, very wonderful, that I can
Sure.
connect in that way. And if a family doesn't have the capacity to do things online, then I will certainly meet them where they're at, and we'll go and do paper applications, and we'll make
Yeah.
it work. Yeah.
Are you going out as far as Craftsbury and some of the other areas
I
around
haven't
here?
yet, but yes, I'm willing to. Yeah, I will drive everywhere.
Huh. That's actually really exciting and challenging.
Yeah. I love it. My job is different every day, and so I get to meet some wonderful families, and I get to talk to some amazing bigs that are wanting to be in the program and working through the process, and it's different every day. So it's keeps me on my toes, and it's wonderful.
How do you guys get your funding?
So our funding comes in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a puzzle piece, right? So we get some federal funding. The Northeast Kingdom is receiving the benefits of some federal funding right now. That is really passed through from Mentor Vermont, which
Right.
is an organization here in Vermont that funds a lot of mentoring organizations throughout the state. We also get additional funding through Mentor Vermont, their regular state initiated funding. And so federal and local grants and fundraisers, like we used to do Bowl for Kids' Sake before pandemic. We've been doing a virtual fun run since then, and an annual appeals, so individual donorship and corporate donorship. And that is the only way that we receive funds. So we don't charge for our services, and we raise every dollar ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've worked in the nonprofit world.
So you know well.
It's brutal. It is brutal. Yeah, there have to be some ways of changing that, but clearly that's not a conversation for today. Well, it probably should be, but
Right.
we can't change it overnight.
Right, exactly.
But what we can do is look at what can make your lives easier here in Newport and the immediate surrounding area. We don't really, I mean, St. J is an entity all by itself, but up here we're pretty remote.
Yes.
And I would bet that there's quite a lot of people who would benefit, both adults, mentors, and the kids. How do they reach you? How does somebody reach you? Anybody reach you?
So several ways, through social media, going to our website, seeing me on, I put a lot of videos out, so seeing me on Facebook, through email, and the phone. So we're out there, and we try to get our information as plastered as possible, and this will certainly help. So I get a lot of calls, and I get a lot of emails.
So you have videos out there?
Yes, I post videos asking for bigs.
Good.
I put it on
I've never seen
Facebook.
any of them. I'm surprised.
Have you liked our Facebook page?
I have no idea, but I will.
That's where I post most of them.
Huh.
And Newport Rocks.
Yes.
Did you see my video on that? Because I actually that was my last
Right.
last try.
That one, yeah.
Yep.
And I think that actually is how I got to you. Because I do a lot of the posts on that page, group.
Yes.
And do kids contact you on their own sometimes?
I've never had a youth contact me on their own. Usually it's a school or a guardian, parent or guardian. So.
Yeah. They can though. They can refer themselves, but we do need parent or guardian permission.
Sure.
For that. And the program is voluntary. So if a parent or a teacher or a guidance counselor thinks that the program would be good for a child and they don't want to participate, then we don't go forward with the application process. So it's completely up to the child with their parent or guardian's permission.
If either party isn't fully engaged, what's the point?
Exactly, and that's what it really takes, the full engagement of both parties to want to be part of the process. And I know that a lot of, I'd say the top reasons that people might hesitate to become a big in the program. One, not knowing or thinking they have enough time is one of them, and being a little bit confused about what they might be able to bring to the relationship, what they would, what they could give to a child. And on the flip side, when someone does become a big, they tell us that it didn't take as much time as they thought it would, and there are all of these things that they had never imagined that they could, that would be beneficial to a child that they bring to the table. Such as, sort of a misconception is you have to stop your world and kind of remove yourself from your life and go into the child's life and do everything that they want to do in their world. And actually, it's about bringing the child into new experiences and different experiences. So anything that you have as a hobby or a special talent or skill or something you really love, you can bring that into the match relationship. So if you love hiking, then we would match you with a child that has compatible interests. So we're not gonna match a bookworm with someone who really wants to be outdoors, because then there might be some friction in what you're doing with your match. Because our program is not first come, first serve, which is why sometimes we've got bigs on our waiting list and littles on our waiting list at the same time, but we can't match them because
they don't match.
They don't match. Yeah. So if you are into woodworking, you could teach your little about woodworking, and then your little could also teach you about whatever hobbies and interests that they have. So it's kind of a mutual blend, and you can fit the time that you spend with your little into your schedule. We have often site-based programs where you could just go into the school during your lunch break, and some employers will allow you to take a lunch time, and they would pay you for that volunteerism.
Right.
And you could go in and meet a child once a week during the school year. And then you have the summers off and any school vacations off. And with the community-based programs, it's a full year long, and you can meet wherever you want to in the community. But you can also go away for your own vacations and things. We understand that there might be a few weeks where you'll have other things going on. You might be out of town, but you can pick up and meet with your little when you come back. So it's really flexible. It's a versatile, flexible program. Mentoring can happen basically anywhere, and adults get as much, the feedback that we get from our bigs is that they get as much, and sometimes think they get more out of the program even than the littles do.
I can see it being a really fun thing to do.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a way to connect in a meaningful way, but it's not like a parent-child or teacher-child relationship. You're on the same level, and you coming in as a big have your own world experiences, and you can share what you've learned in life with the child. And it's about sort of holding a safe space for that child so that they can learn and grow within themselves. And you do that by sharing experiences together and fun activities and conversations, and because you're within a program, we have program coordinators like Tanya. Whenever there's a question, you can call her up and say, we had this conversation and they asked me something and I didn't really know how to respond. You've got someone to talk to about that. You're not doing this in isolation. And if you have, you've gone out to ice cream and taken a walk and you're like, I don't know what else to do, you can call up Tanya and she will give you some ideas of things that you can do with your little.
We're walking down the bike path. Where do we go now? Go back to Tim and Doug's for another ice cream.
Yes. Exactly.
It is very reassuring, though, if you've just taken on a role like that, to know that there is backup. Because sometimes up here, we're pretty much hung out to dry on our own. Well, that's what it feels like for a lot of things.
Yeah. I'd say the Newport Derby area has a lot to offer, and as well as the whole Northeast Kingdom. I just know our area a little bit more. And so I would say most bigs, they have the great outdoors to look to. So there's a lot of biking and swimming and hiking and lots of kayaking and things like that. Skiing, yep, skiing, cross-country skiing. So there's a lot in our immediate area, and most of them take full advantage. So it's really nice.
Have either of you been bigs?
I have not been a big. I've been an informal mentor, but I've not been a big.
Yeah. Is it something that you've thought about doing? And I get that it's your day job, so that makes it a little challenging.
I would say if I wasn't the director of the program, I would consider being big, yes.
Mm.
And I certainly have thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get to see the impact on a daily basis. I get to see the relationships, and it's wonderful. And so once I feel like our program is rolling along, it's something that I would consider doing in the future.
Yeah. And obviously you would encourage anybody else to seriously think about it, recognizing that it may not be for everybody, but that there certainly is a lot of potential. And there are so many people up here who may not have an enormous amount of time, but they have some time, and they have a real interest in young people. I mean, I often hear a lot of complaints about, well, nobody's taking interest in the young people. Well, here's an opportunity.
This is a great way to take interest in your community, in the young people, and the next generation coming up, and being able to really do something substantial that doesn't take a lot of time. We were talking about how when you break it down, it could be an hour a week. It could be 2 hours every couple of weeks. And if you added all the hours up over the course of a year, it's 24 to 48 hours. It's 1 to 2 days. Oh. It's 1 to 2 days out of your year. Yeah, to really bond with a child and really make a difference.
Yeah. Do you ever involve organizations? And part of what just sort of went through my mind, and this may be totally off the wall, is we have places like MAC on Main Street, the Menfrey Magog Arts Collaborative. And for kids who are interested in the arts, I mean, that may be a potential connection too.
We're always looking for partnerships and organizations that would like to partner with us and be involved. Absolutely.
Yes.
And there are quite a few organizations who are also nonprofits, who, as part of their nonprofit mandate, are expected to connect in meaningful educational ways, and that would be one.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, absolutely. And that's, collaboration and working together and finding partnerships is a huge part of what we do.
Yeah. And that would be a little different in the sense it may not be just one adult, but if an organization had 2 or 3 who would be really interested in that. Interesting.
Yes.
You must get so many ideas though, and all you need is how many hours in the day?
Exactly. Yeah. I always have a list going. I'm a list maker, as Kim knows, and so people to contact and partnerships to create, and so I try to divvy up my week as in who to contact as far as organizations and partnerships, and also manage the matches that are under my belt right now. So there's always a huge to-do list.
Yeah. What are you hoping from the farmers market?
I'm hoping for, I think that our local community goes to the farmers market. There's some great booths there, so I'm hoping that they see me and I'm visible. I think that because I have a home office that it's not in everybody's face. We have banners and we have yard signs out, but I think that there's a lot of banners and yard signs out for other organizations.
I've seen yard signs, but you're right, you're not visible.
Right.
And you certainly could be very visible at the farmers market.
Yes. So that's kind of my plan, is to just be out there as much as possible, and I will stand on street corners and wave my hands and let people know I'm here. So I'm always I've parked myself outside of Walmart before, outside of the state building. If I can set up a table and be visible, that's what I'll do.
There's Bluffside Farm too.
Yes, I have not been there.
It's a really growing and interesting location, and particularly if you're looking for matches of people who like the outdoors.
Mm-hmm. That's a great idea.
And it would be a pretty easy setup there if it ever stops raining again.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we just got a canopy because it's been raining so much. So it won't be rained out anymore.
Exactly.
It's so funny because we had this scorching summer with no rain. And then just as people begin to really get moving outside, here it comes.
Yep.
Yes, we've had a lot of rain dates this year, but we're still forging ahead, and Tanya has been able to do an ice cream social that did not get rained out.
It did not. It was actually probably the hottest day that we've had, and I had a lot of people show up, and it was wonderful, and they got ice cream. So I was like, get your ice cream quick, and it was melting down their hands, and I was just like, but it was so wonderful to see everybody. And
where was that?
at Diemond Dogs. Yep, so I set up a little table out there and had some matches show up, and it was great because it was the first time a lot of them had met each other.
Sure.
And so it was wonderful, and people got to see me in another location, so it was twofold.
Yeah. If you need to have a, quote, formal location, will people lend you one? I'm sure they'd rent you one, but...
Well, Neckles lent us a space, so
Yeah. And they would again.
Yes, they would. They gave us an in-kind space.
Yeah.
Because we're not place-based, so we typically don't have. I mean, we would have people come to our office for interviewing, but usually we have small offices, nothing like a building or
Right.
resource center. So we can basically set up shop anywhere, and so when we have space available, then we'll use that for our office space. And when we don't, we travel to libraries or parks or other social service organizations to a conference room.
We
So,
have a beautiful boat on the lake called the Northern Star.
ooh,
I've been on it.
now
It's
that
gorgeous.
would be lovely.
It's gorgeous.
Talk to Rick.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the kind of partnership he would love.
and Rick is wonderful. I took the tour probably 6 weeks ago, a
Mm-hmm.
month ago, yes, he is wonderful. The boat is wonderful. The tour was wonderful. So I would definitely connect with him.
And there's always the dock area too
Yep.
that is usable. So
Yeah, and because of COVID, we have found we've been looking for outdoor spaces, covered outdoor spaces, so
Right.
that we could start meeting with our with matches and with new matches again. Because currently, when a big or a little apply for the program, we set up an online interview
Sure.
for them, and we have just continued to do that. But when matches are made, we like to do that in person.
yeah,
So we've been able to make that happen and meet in all sorts of weather and different conditions. And
Yep.
well, there's still at least another month when that area would be usable and pleasurable.
Yes. Yep. I agree. That's a great space.
yeah, and people can actually come and meet some of our bigs and littles and
Yes,
the team.
exactly.
And on August 28th, we are doing an event called NEK Rocks. We received a grant, an NEK PCE Prevention Center of Excellence grant, and it started with, we sent a packet to all of our littles asking them what prevention is. No prompts, no cues, just write or draw what prevention means to you, so that we could get real raw information
Sure.
to see where do we start a conversation, or where do we need to have conversations with the kids in the program. And part of the process was then having the ice cream social, and we've been able to hand out resiliency packs for these kids. Dealing with, one of the packs was for physical fitness, so we were able to give backpacks and water bottles and fitness watches.
Nice.
And packets for activities. So
Inspired yoga, so we were able to get gift certificates for
Yeah.
inspired yoga, the Great Outdoors for biking and kayaking, Clyde
Right.
River Recreation for kayaking, and the Newport City Motel for the indoor pool. So we were able to provide all these gift certificates and passes to the matches so that they can do these activities together.
yeah, so we're really kind of promoting that physical health and activity, and then also mental health. Our next round were resilience packs, and so in the resiliency packs, we have things like mind putty and flashcards to learn how to like regulate your breathing and relax and like decide like how am I feeling right now and in the inside, and how do I express that on the outside, and you know, and journals and
affirmation cards.
Yeah,
it's just a wonderful pack.
Whole bunch of really cool stuff. And then the next round that we'll be sending out more so that they have something to do over for when the weather starts getting a little colder are magazine subscriptions for activities that they like to do, and those fun boxes.
The subscription
boxes.
Yeah.
So we've been able to do that. And then, so Positivity Rocks is the culmination of this project. So during Positivity Rocks, we're going to be painting rocks and writing nice things on them and putting them out for community members to find, and having these conversations with the kids about how, like, what their thoughts and feelings were about prevention, and talking about it in a very realistic way, not in like a teacher-student kind of way, but you know, we don't know by looking at someone what's going on the inside. And we can tend to make assumptions and judgments about people based on what they're doing at the moment, what they look like, who they're hanging out with, and all those things. And there's always a deeper level to someone.
Sure.
And there's ways that we can help to try to make things better for folks, and there's ways that we can not help the situation at all. So with the Positivity Rocks, it's just a fun way to be able to express nice things. And you know, someone might be walking along having a sad day, and they see the rock, and you know, it can perk them up. So
that's really cool.
Partnered with Umbrella.
Yes, partnered with Umbrella, so they're going to be there. And so we've done Positivity Rocks a couple of times in the Brattleboro area. That has been really fun, and it's a great opportunity to really talk about the strengths within all of us, and how it really takes more than a look to really learn and know and understand about
Is this for the general public or just for those who are already partnered?
The general public is definitely welcome to come, and we will have extra painting supplies and rocks available. So if someone is walking by and they would like to paint a rock, they are more than welcome.
Painting rocks is a big deal up here.
Yes, it is.
There are some really active people involved in that. There are several different Facebook groups specifically for that.
Yes.
And part of the reason I know this is that I'm forever getting requests to join Newport, Vermont Rocks, assuming it's a rock group as opposed to rock in the more general sense.
That's something that actually happened to me when I was trying to find that Facebook page. I ended up on the actual rock one.
Yeah,
like,
Vermont Rocks, NEK Rocks.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
But there will be a lot of interest for that. It would be a wonderful place to recruit.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And because we don't have a place for people to come and see us with a program running, it's an opportunity to see people who are mentoring.
Right.
And kind of get a picture of what that might look like.
So where are you going to do this?
Party Beach. Under the pavilion, so kind of where the park is.
Yeah.
There's some extra parking there, and so I think that's where hopefully we're going to land there.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's August 28th from 10 to 12:30.
Just 1 week from now.
Yes.
12 days.
How did this month go by so quickly?
I have no clue.
I know.
But it certainly
it's just a week away.
Yeah. And then it's Labor Day.
And then it's Labor Day. Yes.
Which I really don't want to know about yet. We are out of time. They say it goes fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming in, and I really look forward to seeing your program grow. I think there'd be a lot of interest up here.
Yes, thank you so much. We've really enjoyed being here, and we are excited to meet new people and hopefully get some more bigs recruited and littles recruited so we can have a really wonderful, robust program here in the Northeast Kingdom.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.